Hi, my name is Mitchell Taylor, and welcome to Joy in Our Town. And our topic today is civic affairs. We're going to be focusing on how New York City small businesses help our communities. We're joined today by a very exciting guest from the New York City Department of Small Business Services, Commissioner Robert W. Walsh. Welcome him on today. Thank you, Commissioner, for coming.
Thanks very much, so much. Appreciate it.
You know, the work that's being done in the city by your department is amazing, and I wanted you on the show so that the 2 million or so viewers that watch this show can really be impacted by the great work that you're doing with Department of Small Business Services. So, but before we get into that, what do you think New York small businesses need, and how do you figure that out?
Right. You know, it's a good question. You know, when I came into this job, I thought I knew what they needed, and we took a step back and we brought a lot of small businesses, you know, in and around a table, and asked them what they needed. And there's 3 or 4 things that came up time and time again. Where is the money, and how do I get access to capital? And more you see that with the meltdown of Wall Street and the recession, of many small businesses getting denied loans and not knowing where to go, you know, when they have a good idea or they want to stay afloat. That's number 1. 2 is, how do I deal with government? You got federal, you got state, you got local, you got permits, you got license, you got this inspector in, you got this one in. It's a complex world. How do I deal with government? And we try to clean that up and say, you know, navigating government. How do you sort of navigate through the maze?
Right.
And then I think the third thing that I hear more and more, it's about human capital. It's about people. How do I find good people, you know, and the skills that are needed for my small businesses to be successful. So those are 3. Those are the big 3 that come up time, you know, in conversations.
So do you feel that you've been successful in helping these businesses?
I think in access to capital, this is something that we were not involved in. If you step back to 2002, it's hard to believe in New York City, a city of over 8 million people, we did not have a department that dealt with small businesses. There are over 200,000 small businesses in New York. 200,000? 200,000, and most of the small businesses are businesses under 10 people. It's the mom and pop shops that are in your neighborhood. It's that deli. It's the shoe repairman. It was my dad, who was a commercial artist. It's folks that did not have, you know, the resources to, you know, go back and forth and look at all different options. They had to be out there. They had to open up the doors and make money, quite frankly, to make. So that what we have focused on more and more has been access to capital, pointing people in the direction to get access to capital. The big banks, the small banks, and more what you see, and many people don't know this, and thank you for this opportunity, is access to capital to nonprofit organizations. So what we try to do is when a small business has been denied by, let's say, a big bank, okay? We try to, one, work with the bank and ask the bank, you know, what was the reason, and can you give us that referral so we could connect them to a nonprofit or, in some cases, another bank to get them up and running. And we've been very successful as of late on that. Last year, we connected over 800 small businesses to about $39 million in loans. Not that I'm counting. You know, but this is something that we need to do more of. And if you think of it, and this is something, you know, conversations you and I have had in the past, is small businesses often don't think of coming to government.
That's true.
They don't think of coming to government for any help.
They often want to keep government out.
You know, a government official walks in the door, it's like, oh, you know, boy, you know, what do they want now? And, you know, to take a proactive role, particularly in New York, and you've been tremendous on that, is giving us the understanding that there's some cultures, quite frankly, in New York, in major cities, across the country, where whether it's a language barrier or it's a background, they're not coming to government for help. So it's an even greater challenge.
Well, I mean, the thing that has really amazed me is that you have been able to communicate effectively to businesses and convince them that using the services of the Small Business Service Department would be beneficial to them. It's a sort of government entity in their eyes, but yet they're coming through the doors and you're helping them. There's one piece that intrigued me, and that's the registration of minority and women business owners.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit and how that works for maybe women and minorities that have small businesses and how they can connect with?
Sure. We have a program, it's called MWBE, Minority Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program. And it is a program, you know, if you look historically, blacks, Hispanics, Asian, and in some cases women, have not had a level playing field, if you will, in terms of procurement with contracts. So, you know, the first order of business is getting companies certified with us. And then the second is how do we end up matching them up with government contracts? But we're taking a long road. And the long road is the capacity building of many of these companies. So we have teamed up with Columbia on a construction mentoring program. We've teamed up with NYU on I'll call it a mini MBA program, where we have a crash course over 5 months to get people up and running about a business plan, about capital access, about where to look for incentives, how to pick good people, leadership skills, all across the board. So we've gotten a lot of help from Columbia and NYU. We also are helping with a construction loan program. We're helping with removing the barriers. A lot of construction companies, if you will, they want to bid for the building of a skyscraper, but they can't get, you know, the bonding. You know, it's a type of insurance. And what we have done is we have a program that eliminates some of those barriers. I don't want to get into too many of the details, but I think it's important that people know that, one, we're looking to make the match, and two, we're looking to build those companies to be better. And we have a whole host of courses and programs now to help.
The thing that I want to really drive home to the viewers is that if you're a woman, if you're a minority, black, Hispanic, Asian, you're a minority, you can do business with the city of New York.
Yes, that's right.
All you have to do is register, and that process can begin by contacting your office.
You call 311. That would be the first, you know.
311. Okay.
Call 311, and they will put you in touch with the MWBE program.
And that's run in your shop.
In our shop. And I will have a caseworker who will work with that company. You know, it used to be in the past where we'd get the form in and someone didn't do, and we'd send it back. We're going to call you up.
Right.
And we're gonna bring you in, and we're gonna ask you, you know, where we could help. But I think the most important. I've been in this job 10 years now. The most important lesson is that we now have a whole host of other support services, if you will, training courses, other ways to build the business to be even stronger. In competing against others, because that's what it's all about. Right,
because I sense that, you know, and I talk to a lot of small business owners, and they say, you know, I want to bid for this job with the city, I want to do this, how do I do all that? I said, there's a way to do it, and I talk about you and what you've done at SBS, and how do small businesses connecting to you, how does that really help you? What is the satisfaction that you guys get from helping the small businesses? How does that really turn into benefits? And I mean, it may be obvious, but I'd like for you just to elaborate on that, the importance of that.
It's a pretty powerful question, and I think there's a lot of people, you know, on your staff, and I've seen that at job fairs, and I've seen, you know, you have these out-of-body experiences at times, and I'm sure you have had it where you're watching your own staff interact with others, and there's some that do an amazing job. They love it. It is a satisfaction that they have, and it's one of the reasons they're in public service.
Right.
That they love what they do. They love making a change. They love making a difference in people's lives. They love to see, you know, a new restaurant open up, or a person getting a job, or a company getting an opportunity. And I think that's one of the things that has driven me. You know, I've been in. You know, Mayor Bloomberg appointed me in 2002. I've been around for 10 years. I've seen some real positive change. We've had, quite frankly, bumps in the road where, you know, we've fallen down and we've gotten back up, and, you know, just keep pushing. And I think I think it's you know, it's not a degree. It's a special gut feeling that you have about you know, people and their drive and their passion and what they care about. And I think it's something, you know, I see when, you know, I'll just say it, when I'm in your neighborhood and I'm walking around and seeing people like you, and we couldn't do it if we didn't have those types of connections in the neighborhoods. And I just think that, you know, to be reflective about this is there's so much more we could end up doing. And it means government taking a role where we need to set the landscape and allow more to run. We can't do it all, but we got to set the environment for others to run and run fast. Right.
Well, you know, I mean, your leadership over the last 10 years with the business solution centers, with Workforce One, and I mean, it's amazing. So it took someone with that special gifting and gut that you talk about. But another question I want to ask you.
I'll give credit to the mayor. You know, Mayor Bloomberg has been phenomenal in this city. Yes. We didn't have a small business services department for 200,000 small business. He knows a little bit about
just a little bit
growing a small business into a big business. But I think the thing that he stressed with me, and I've picked up, you know, time and time again with him, it's about customer service. And it's about conversations you and I have had. It's about professionalism.
You're right.
It's about that first impression when you walk in the door.
What does it look like?
What does it look like? You know, a person is coming to a government center. Let's break it down, right? They're coming to a government center for a job.
Right.
Bend over backwards to make that person comfortable. Make sure that the environment is professional. Get back to them. You know, provide computers. You know, just make sure that you can do everything possible to make that experience a good experience.
I mean, that's why the mayor, yourself, I mean, we have the same mentality, because for years, people that needed government services were subjected to substandard facilities that look a mess, smell a mess, and the experience was a mess. But in your centers, they're top-notch, they're put together with excellence. It's an amazing experience when I go there. I feel, you know, like, wow, I want to get a job here or something. You know, it's that type of thing. And I think that's the first step. I mean, that first impression. Let me ask you another question. Are there other resources to help businesses save time and money, maybe online? Are there any tools that you have developed online?
Yeah. Online at nyc.gov/SBS. You could find a whole host of different programs, particularly for entrepreneurs now. Those entrepreneurs who want to start a new business, or those entrepreneurs who now want to grow to, you know, the next level. Fortune magazine just did a piece on a woman that we helped. She was a great culinary artist. She needed some help on that business acumen. Of how do you take that business to the next level. I know how to make a cake, but I don't know how to run a business that well. And we've gotten, you know, we've teamed up with a internationally known foundation called the Kauffman Foundation, and they have done a phenomenal job. So, you know, we're in the business of helping businesses do better.
That's amazing.
And I think that is the mentality. You know, we can't do it all alone. We need help. We need to develop relationships, whether it's with the faith community, with community-based organizations, foundations, to make it happen. We're not going to do it by ourselves.
True. You know, we have about 2 minutes left, and I want to make sure that you drive home some of the real important things you have, you know, brewing right now for businesses, things that small businesses can expect to come out of your shop, some things that you might want to just drive home in the last 2 minutes of this show.
Well, thank you. I would start with, you know, there's so many people out of work, and I meet with staff on a daily basis about jobs and making sure that that we're doing everything we can do to help that New Yorker get a job or point them in the right direction. Everyone that comes in the center, we're not able to help. And sometimes it's because of skills, sometimes it's because, you know, we don't have that relationship in that type of sector. But we're opening up centers in your neighborhood, thank you very much, at public libraries, with the CUNY, the City University in New York system, everything we possibly can do to help people who need jobs. The other is, for businesses and the mom and pop shops, and breaking through some of the barriers that we have so they could understand government better. And the challenge in New York, given that almost half of our small businesses are immigrant, they were born in another country, it makes it even more challenging. And get them to accept through community-based organizations, is through organizations like yours and so many others, is how do we make sure that those organizations feel good and that we develop that partnership with them going forward.
Excellent. Well, we got 10 seconds left. I want you to look into that camera and tell 2 million viewers what you want them to know, the last words about the Department of SBS.
Well, the last words would be, we're here to help. We're from the government. We're here to help. Contact us at nyc.gov/SBS or call 311.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time you've given to us. I always feel like we never have enough time.
Well, thank you very much, Bishop.
Thanks for watching Joy in Our Town. We'll be right back.